Day 27 of Australian Survivor. You know, if this was the American Survivor, they'd actually be picking a winner right now. And we're not even, well, we are just halfway through. I mean, the Australian Survivor is like double the size of the American Survivor. It's one hell of a marathon for these contestants to go through. If this was America, they'd already be over. So really, it's a testament to all of these guys that they've made it this far at all. But the episode starts with Ziggy returning from her adventures of getting Super Idol, and she comes up with a pretty good explanation as to what it was that she was getting and what happened after she left to get the ultimate reward. I gotta say, she did a really good job coming up with this lie. It's fantastic. It's believable that she was sent there to get a game advantage that she can gift to someone else, but she doesn't know what it is and she's not allowed to tell anyone what it is, and once she gives it to someone, they're not allowed to say what it is. This is great because not only is it like a cover story for what actually happened, but it means that now, as long as everyone believes it, they're all going to be extra nice to her and they're all going to want to keep her in the game because they all want that reward. Very smart of you, Ziggy. Really good job. The only thing I could really add to it, strategy-wise, is I maybe would have added an extra layer. A second layer in case more people came and questioned me individually later, if they perhaps didn't believe the whole thing. Because AK does say he doesn't believe she's telling him everything and he's going to go question her again later to find out everything that happened. But of course, the tribe swap intervenes and we don't get to see that. But if I were Ziggy, I would have added a second layer that if AK or someone else came up to me afterwards and said, what else happened? Explain it to me in detail. I could say, okay, well, there was extra stuff that happened. I didn't just choose to give people this game advantage. It was one of those things where I had to solve a riddle, and if I got it right, I would have got the game advantage for myself. But if I got it wrong, it's what we have now because I got the riddle wrong. And I'd make up some riddle. There's one I heard about what has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at midday, and 3 legs at nighttime. And the answer is, it's a human, because you crawl on 4 when you're born in the morning, you walk on 2 legs in the middle of your lifespan, and then when you're old and you have a cane, you have 3 legs. Like, that's the riddle. I would have said that was the riddle, but I maybe would have said I got it wrong, and I figured it'd be a Mexican walking fish or something like that, because they grow legs, and, you know, just the point is, it's the more detail you can add to a lie like this or a story like this, the more believable it is. So she did a good job of adding detail to this lie. I think she should have added a second layer to it in case people came and questioned her more about it later. She could add more detail and makes it more believable. But as mentioned, yes, the tribe swap did finally come. I've been waiting for this for what feels like forever. It really feels like forever. And the result was Peter and AK got swapped with Annalisa and Michelle. So the new Se02 is Ziggy, Henry, Lockie, Tessa, Ben, Annalise, and Michelle. And the new Asaga is Odette, Sarah, Tara, Luke, Jericho, AK, and Peter. For everyone in Se02, especially those on the bottom like Henry and Lockie, who were in fear of AK's alliance taking them out, which they would have if they had gone to tribal, this is fantastic news for them. Fantastic news, because it takes out 2 that were both in the majority alliance, including the leader, which gives them basically a whole new lease on life. It's an entirely new game for them now. And this is what I mentioned with Henry a couple episodes ago. His best strategy is to just try to win all the immunity challenges between him and Lockie because of their strength in the immunities. That's his best chance for survival until the merge. And that's pretty much what they've done. And good job for them. I'm so glad that Henry's still alive. But the good fortune for them in AK's leaving is bad fortune for AK because he's going into the worst situation you could possibly be in now. Sure, he does have Peter with him, one of his alliance that he can count on, but he's going into a situation where not only is there a hostile alliance led by Luke that wants to take him out, but also Tara has completely poisoned the well in regards to AK. Everybody now thinks of him as this total monster schemer strategist who you can't trust at all. That's a near impossible scenario in which to actually get any scheming done. He really could have used an idol here, but all 3 of the idols are in the other tribe now that Annalise is over there too, so no one's going to find any idols for quite a while. So AK is in a really tough spot, and I mentioned on Twitter as soon as this happened, the numbers are there for him to flip, The question is, will he be able to overcome this bad reputation that he now has, or will his bad reputation hang him? And initially I did think, yes, it's going to hang him, but then my emotions got the better of me later and I was like, I think he can do it. And then I changed my prediction on Twitter. I should have stuck with my initial cold, unemotional numbers assessment, because that was correct. As soon as my emotions got involved, I made the wrong decision. Just should go off the numbers from future. But we'll get more into that as we get to it. For right now, we got to see a pretty good challenge where they're trying to knock each other's idol off each other's platform. We got to see Sarah's evil eye. Her going up against Annalise. Annalise and her, they've gone up against each other quite a few times in these challenges, which is interesting because in these challenges, they're kind of like arch nemesis, whatever, arch nemesis. But outside the challenges, they're actually pretty good friends. They have that bond over the idol now, because remember, Sarah knows that Annalisa has the idol. She was going to help her to get it at the challenge. So just hopefully they can keep that bad blood in the challenges, just in the challenges and not outside it. But after the challenge ends and they both go in different directions, over in New Samatau, Annalise is not too worried about where she fits in, because that's her old tribe. She just sort of slots back in, and she's pretending like, oh no, it's all fine. But remember, she was voted out with Tara at the last tribal, so she's got a lot of bad blood there, and she mentioned she's only pretending she's okay with everyone. In reality, she wants to slit everybody's throat who tried to vote her out last time. Which means that's one more potential ally for Henry and Lockie, which is great, because they now have the numbers to take back control of their tribe. So because Annalise has already got those connections with that tribe, Michelle is kind of like the only new one, so she's using all of her gift of the gab to sort of relate to everyone and talk to everyone, and this kind of annoyed Lockie. He thinks she talks too much, but hey, you got to use whatever skills you got, and hers is conversation, and she's using it, getting all the information on everyone that she needs. Do your thing, girl. Whatever you gotta do to survive. That's why it's called Survivor. But her head was not on the chopping block this time, because it was New Asaga that ended up losing immunity, sending them to Tribal Council. So in AK's scrambling to sort of protect himself and try to cobble together an alliance out of what there is over at Asaga, he unleashes a bit of a charm offensive of his own, and this is where you could really see the bad reputation that Tara has sown taking effect, because if they didn't already know that he was a schemer and everything that what Tara has said, a lot of them probably like him because he was being quite charming, and even Odette said he's not like everyone says. So again, if it wasn't for his reputation, he probably would have easily survived this situation. But reputation can just be a death sentence in Survivor. I'd say after being labelled as part of a power couple, the next most deadly thing is a bad reputation, because nobody wants to work with you for a bad reputation. Even if they're seen talking to you too much, it will rub off on them. So it's like one of the most toxic things in this game. It's very difficult to make big moves without getting a bad reputation, because you're bound to upset someone when you make a big move. So it's a really difficult tightrope to walk. But Luke, who, in case you haven't been listening, is the king of Asaga. He says that like 20 times every episode. But he's determined to make AK his biggest trophy, stuffing him and putting him on his mantelpiece. And he has a pretty good plan as to how to do this. He knows that AK is going to make some kind of play, so he tries to give him like a false hope, a false plan. Luke pretends like he's scared of an all-girls alliance, which is a legitimate concern. I pointed that out myself a couple episodes ago, as maybe something that Kent could have used to try to get Luke on side in order to save himself. And now Luke is sort of recycling that fear. I guess Luke obviously isn't in any real fear of an actual all-girls alliance, but he recognizes the gender disparity in the tribe, and he uses that to say with AK, gotta stop an all-girls alliance, so I'd love to have you and Peter around. We're gonna take out Tara, and that way we'll all be safe until the merge. Yeah, you've got a connection with the alliance over there. We've got an alliance over here. We can keep strong after the merge if we work together. And AK at first is totally psyched to hear this, and he totally buys it. He totally believes that Luke is on board with all this. But not for long. This is when I started to change in my viewing of it. Luke is in the middle of bragging to the camera about how he's totally lying to AK and he's not going to help him at all, and he's tricked him and how great he is, blah 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 blah. When AK figures it out, he sees through it. He realizes that Luke and Tara are talking together every time they're at the fire, so he knows they've got to be talking about something. That's when he realizes, this guy's full of it. I don't trust this guy at all. I got to make different plans. And he does. And this is when I thought he was going to pull it off. So because he smells a trap with Luke, he switches his hope of salvation from Luke and Jericho over onto Sarah and Odette, and he tries to make an alliance of 4 with the 2 of them. So it will be him, Peter, Sarah and Odette voting for Tara. and then it's 4 versus 3. He only needed to pull over 2 other people. This is also why I started to think he could do it. But the fact that AK could see through Luke's plan and made an alternative plan shows he really is a good player. He really, really is. He can read the terrain and read people very, very well, and he saw the trap. He saw it. And if it wasn't for his bad reputation, those 2 people probably would have gone along with him, but they didn't in the end because Tara had already poisoned the well. But again, this kind of shows with Luke, I'm sorry, it kind of seems like I'm bagging on Luke a lot. I'm not. I do like Luke. But just as he bragged about how wonderful he was for taking out Jackie and Kent, I had to point out that's only because Henry had gone. None of his plans worked before that until Henry left. Then all of his plans started working. Again here, him taking out AK. He's going to pound his chest and say how wonderful he is that he tricked AK. Sorry, Luke, you didn't. He saw through it. He saw through it. He saw your trick. He made another plan to avoid it, but it was Tara poisoning the well that took him out. So you didn't take him out, Luke. The reason he went home is because Tara poisoned the well. It's not because of any strategic genius on your part, Luke. So I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, you still have to prove yourself strategically. Your successes have either been accidental, like now, or have happened in the absence of other players like Henry. And this is not a fault on you. This is just the way the cookie has crumbled in this season of Survivor. After the merge, though, you'll then have every opportunity to prove yourself going up against the other big players, and I hope you do. But AK's not your trophy, because he saw through your trap. Your trap did not work. Just like all of your traps before Henry left also did not work. You had 2 failed coups before that. But the dilemma that AK was in here kind of speaks to a weird, bizarro kind of contradiction in the game of Survivor. And I think the host Jono put it really well. Because we all know that in Survivor, to make it to the end, you gotta make big moves. But as Jono said, sometimes big moves expose big players. And that is the catch-22 kind of situation. You gotta make big moves, but once you do make big moves, everyone knows you're a player, so you get a target put on your back. And that's what happened with AK here. He'd made so many big moves, he had gotten that reputation, and it was hard for him to shake it. So I think the key of moving forward with Survivor in future seasons, the people who win it are going to be people who are able to make big moves while still remaining invisible. Very difficult thing to do. How do you do it? I think it's going to be, like I mentioned in a previous episode, from like O'Reilly in Oz, where he talks other people into taking out the people that he wants taken out so that he can remain invisible, and if it backfires, it doesn't come back on him. I think those are the kind of people that will win Survivor in the future. Those who are able to convince other people to take out the people that they want, so they can control the game and make big moves, but without showing their hand. Very difficult to do, but I look forward to seeing how it happens in the future. So thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter so you can keep in touch with all the weird little memes that I put out as I review these episodes, and as well as my commentary during the show. And if you are a fan of Survivor, please share these videos with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.